The fourth generation Apple TV was a big step up from previous generations, but now that 4K is becoming more popular, Apple is joining the party with its new Apple TV 4K. The fourth generation Apple TV was a big step up from previous generations, but now that 4K is becoming more popular, Apple is joining the party with its new Apple TV 4K. The fourth generation Apple TV was a big step up from previous generations, but now that 4K is becoming more popular, Apple is joining the party with its new Apple TV 4K. On top of 4K resolution, the new Apple TV 4K comes with the company's 10X chip, which is the same processor that's in the iPad Pro. Apple says this allows for. The fourth generation Apple TV was a big step up from previous generations, but now that 4K is becoming more popular, Apple is joining the party with its new Apple TV 4K. The fourth generation Apple TV was a big step up from previous generations, but now that 4K is becoming more popular, Apple is joining the party with its new Apple TV 4K. 4K TV- is it worth the upgrade? Why 4K? Yet many people who are ready to buy a new TV hesitate when it comes to 4K TVs. Here's why upgrading to Apple. Opinion: Apple's fourth general Apple TV will 4K through some kind of software upgrade are in support by the Apple. It's just not worth. Is Apple TV upgrading to 4K Ultra HD? If Apple intends to let 4K videos loose on Apple TV, the perfect testing ground for the technology is inside the iPhone 6. I already have an Apple TV and a 4K TV, but is the Apple TV 4K upgrade worth it? I'm not seeing anything other than the addition of 4K to justify the cost. Is the add 4K a worthy upgrade if you don't have a 4K TV? Jump to content. Any modern version of the Apple TV is worth it coming from the Apple TV 3. Not sure if you should upgrade to a new Ultra HD 4K TV. Here's a handy guide to figure it out. The new Apple TV is here, and it offers 4K support. That's the big reason to upgrade here, and given the growth of the 4K video content and TV hardware, where can I get 4K Ultra HD TV shows and movies today? Is it worth upgrading to a 4K TV yet? Voodoo comes to Apple TV. The Apple TV 4 has been out for a few. For the people who own the fourth general, is it worth the upgrade? And what? We all know they will add a FaceTime camera and 4K. USB is gone from the new Apple TV 4K, leaving fewer solutions to capture video output. News: is the Apple TV 4K worth an upgrade? September 13th. TV. Apple TV finally get a 4K HDR upgrade. There simply wasn't enough 4K HDR content to make the new hardware worth it to the mainstream consumer. Upgrading to 4K Mac- worth it. Looking at those 4Ks and it is worth selling my current Mac and upgrading to the 4K Mac. I noticed Apple has a 4K tweet with a location. You can add location information to your tweets, such as your city or precise location, from the web and via third-party applications. Apple TV 4 doesn't support 4K Ultra HD TVs. Why has Apple waited to support 4K? What's in the way? What does the standard duty do? And what's happening next? Hi, I currently have a 3-year-old Sony 1080p TV. Is it really worth it to upgrade to a 4K TV? Thanks in advance. Rosa Alonso. Source: TechCrunch.com. The new Apple TV is here, and it offers 4K support. That's the big reason to upgrade here, and given the growth of the 4K video, Apple today introduced the new Apple TV 4K designed to deliver a stunning cinematic experience at home. Apple TV 4K, is it worth it? The processor is getting a huge upgrade. The Apple TV 4K sports the 10X Fusion chip, which we first saw in the iPad Pros released. For years, Apple TV has been like a perpetually ignored child. eclipsed by its overachieving siblings, the iPad. Design-wise, it hasn't changed. So does a new Apple TV support 4K or not? Christians brag on September 9, but whilst I have the older Apples, I won't be upgrading until 4K. The iPhone 6s and iPad Pro are cool and all, but the Apple gadget that I was most looking forward to this fall was a new Apple TV. It is quite. I own the original Apple TV and am wondering if there's anything about the new one that makes it worth upgrading. However, should you upgrade your current 4th general Apple TV to the new one? What's new with the Apple TV 4K? Whereas earlier Apple TV models maxed out Apple TV brawl results, Apple solidly wins TV and upgrade my primary. The lack of 4K support means about 4K. Just my 2 cents worth, and as